Welcome everyone to episode 71 of This Week in Geek. Merry Christmas Eve. My name is Ren Geekness, and as always, I am joined by my co-host Zach Pope. How are you doing today, Zach?
I'm doing great. My set is almost done. I'm waiting for one big thing, and then I can get that all lit up, and then I can move the camera, and I'm done. I'm done
And
with
then
my
uh,
set.
and then I will come over and light up your set even more.
Yes, please.
All right,
Almost
everyone.
there.
Exactly. Thank you so much for joining us again. Whether it's the first time you're finding us, whether you're a regular, whether you're watching us live, whether you're watching the repeat, or whether you're listening to us on Spotify. In case you're unfamiliar with the show, we have three segments. The first segment, we go through our weekly ranking. That's a section of the show where myself, Zach, and then a ton of you in the live chat go through everything we watched this past week and rank it from the worst to the best. After that, we go into our main topic, the topic you see on the thumbnail, the topic you see on the title, and that's our main point of discussion. And today, it's a pretty big one. And after that, the third and final segment of the show is my favorite segment of the show, the section for questions and answers. There's a post in the community tab on my channel where you'll see the thumbnail for this video. That's your prompt to leave questions. Now, we don't guarantee that we can get to all those questions, but if you want to guarantee your question is answered immediately, and you want to support the channel actively and the show while you do it, you can use the tip link in the description of this video or the super chat feature. With that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, let's get started. I'll get us started. I didn't watch much this week. I didn't watch much that I didn't like this week, but I did watch something I did not like. One thing. By the way, I did watch the Iron Claw and the entire second season of What If. I'm not going to rank those just because my reviews aren't ready. The Iron Claw is coming later today. I have a magnificent thumbnail for it. And What If is coming tomorrow as your little Christmas treat. All right. So with those two out of contention, last place by far, Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon. After 12 years, it finally happened. The first Zack Snyder film since Sucker Punch that is not good, and that is Rebel Moon Part 1. And it's frustrating because the whole thing about this film was that it's Zack Snyder's vision. Netflix is giving him like free reign, carte blanche to do whatever. And then turns out, no, not really. So they're giving us a lesser version of the film, and the real version of the film, quote unquote, is somewhere out there as the director's cut. This was just unbelievably frustrating, and I'm tremendously disappointed. On top of that, Aquaman and the Last Kingdom, the ending of the DCU. The DCU is over, it's dead, we can bury it, but at least it goes out on a good movie. I'm not going to apologize for it, but I think Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is a ton of fun. Not in the first act. During the first act, I was afraid I was in for another Shazam Fury of the Gods situation, perhaps even worse than that. But into the second act, into the third, the film gets going. It finds its pacing. It's really fun. It's very forgettable. It's very uneventful. There's nothing surprising or unique about it. But because I like the original Aquaman so much, this is more of that same kind of energy and visual aesthetic. So I had a ton of fun. And I will never not recognize how much of incredible casting Jason Momoa was as this character. Just his casting alone was a complete reinvention of Aquaman. His casting alone turned Aquaman from the lamest superhero into the coolest superhero, and that remains true. On top of that, I'm going to have a review I finally put up from the Venice Film Festival, The Promised Land. This is a Mads Mikkelsen neo-western that I don't want to get too much into because I covered it all in my review, and it's coming to theaters in the US, in the UK, in 2024, in February. If it is playing near you, please go watch this one. And my number one is a rewatch that I was missing this movie in my life, so I rewatched Denis Villeneuve's Dune, and so that remains as the number one, undisputedly. All right, Zach, what do you got?
So at the bottom, I have Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Was not a fan of this. Now, as a preference, I think I maybe would have had a little bit stupid fun with it if it wasn't in 3D. I thought the 3D was not good for it.
Oh, you
So
went to see it in 3D?
they had our press screening in 3D. They had a majority of the press screenings in 3D, which
Oh,
were
that's
kind of
true, that's true.
surprising. So,
I didn't have a press screening. I went to a public screening the
mm,
same day as the press screenings, and I had no embargo, so I was, like, the only
yeah.
tweet about it.
Yeah, no, you were all fair. The United States, they did not want us talking about this film at all. And
Oh, the
I
UK is
get
the same.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just maybe I'll enjoy it more once I get to watch it at home and be like, all right, this is I overall I just thought it was a mixed bag and I was pretty frustrated because just like it's just so kind of boring. Like for a majority of it. Like I thought the action was great, visual effects were great. I love the new worlds they go to, but I just wanted more time in all of those. Like I just felt like we were just rushing through the beats to get to everything and it just kind of felt like everyone was just there. I don't know. I wasn't a fan. You'll see my DCEU ranking after the podcast is over because it goes up then.
And you will
Up
see
next,
mine on Letterboxd.
up next, I have Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire, the not
Oh,
Snyder cut. I liked it, but if you saw my review, I just ranted about why Netflix should have just released the director's cut. I get it. If you wanted to do this version because you were going to do a wider release, yeah, that makes sense because it'll probably make more money. Nah, nah, no. He didn't do that. So I don't get it. I literally have told every single person, "Oh, should I watch it this week?" I've literally told them, "Nah. You should just wait. You unless you're a huge Zack Snyder fan, I don't think so. I think you should just wait till the director's cut." Um, I
I
don't know.
am a huge Zack Snyder fan, and I agree.
If part 2 though is released the same way, I will not watch part 2 until the director's cut. I just won't. There's no point. You just showed me why I shouldn't. Up next after that, I have the first Aquaman movie, which I like a lot. I don't think everything holds up on it, but I still think again, and I'll contend this. I think James Wan's action directing is like at least for these two films specifically are the best in almost any of the comic book genres. Like it's actually like baffling how much he cooks. Like specifically like the final fight between Manta and Aquaman in the new
Yeah.
one, where the camera's like going back and forth. I was like, that's fucking cool. And
It's
Aquaman
anime.
has a lot of very much. And then Orm versus Aquaman, I love it. It's overall very enjoyable. Up next, I have Migration. Very big surprise. I saw this last week when I missed the show. And I thought it was enjoyable. Honestly, I think it's Illumination's best movie.
A lot of people are saying that. You're not the only one.
Yeah, it's and I'm happy I'm not. It's really cute, and maybe it was because there's not a lot of stupid fart jokes, poop jokes,
Mm.
and music numbers. Maybe it's because it kind of does throw it back to some old animated films that just depend on the story and its characters. And is it forgettable? No, I don't think so. I've seen some people say that, but I also don't think it's up to us to say that. Like, what's up to it is that next generation of kids that grow up with this movie. And then do they still talk about it as an adult like you and me do with Treasure Planet and Atlantis? Because a lot of kids nowadays
Mm.
don't know what those films are. So, as well as like Black Cauldron was like my dad's Treasure Planet, I guess you would say, because no one talks about that, but that was like one of those weird dark Disney movies and unique things. And not saying Migration is dark or weird or anything like that, but it is one of those films. So I've kind of come to terms on that it's hard for us to call something a classic, or because the next generation is what's going to truly define all these animated movies. So I think Migration will be one of those. Then I rewatched two movies this last week with my fiance. One was All of Us Strangers.
Oh,
I'm in. It moved back into my top 10. My fiance loved it. It kind of hit me finally. Like it hit me the first time I watched it, but it hit me this time while watching it. And I think the best way to explain this film is if you are not in the mood for like a meditative experience, I don't think the film's going to be for you. And I think you need to watch it in the right mindset. But it is incredible. It's kind of baffling to me that Andrew Scott is not being talked more for Best Actor.
and Claire
Same
Foy
with
for
Claire
supporting.
Foy and even Jamie Bell. Jamie
Yeah.
Bell is incredible in this. This movie is fantastic. Be ready to cry. Up
A lot.
next, at my number one for the week, Killers of the Flower Moon. I rewatched it. I showed my fiance very worried to show her because she
Yeah, did she
hates.
like it?
She loved it. She fucking
Okay.
loved it.
All right.
We were building the shelves. Well, I was building and she was helping me build it when I needed her, but she was watching it while I was watching it too.
Okay.
And there came a point where I needed help putting one of the plexiglasses in, and I think she was so sucked into the movie she kind of just like didn't respond to me. So I was like,
Okay.
okay, I'll just do it on my own. But she loved it. And I was very nervous because she despises long movies. She does not want to see these 3-hour movies anymore. She doesn't feel like she has time. And I told her, I was like, we can watch it in bits. Like we can watch the first hour and a half, then an hour and a half after. It's up to you. I don't care. But nope, we watched it in one sitting and she loved it. So I think she liked All of Us Strangers more though. I think that's what she told me. So I
That is
think
the
this
correct sentiment.
weekend I'm gonna try and show her The Holdovers, The Color Purple. What else was I gonna? Oh, Oppenheimer was one she really wants to watch. She still
Ah,
hasn't
yeah.
seen that one. I completely forgot I had it. I was like, oh, let's watch Killers of the Flower Moon, and
Did
not
you
even thinking.
are you so are you gonna be missing any like 2023 movie that you wish you could watch by the end of the year, or will you have seen everything?
I have to be honest. I have not had time to watch Zone of Interest or Anatomy of the Fall, and I know she. I
Okay.
asked her if she wanted to, and she doesn't really want to watch those. I'll definitely catch up on them before the
Mhm.
in the new year. But I'm low key kind of holding out that they'll go in like Zone of Interest. I've been kind of holding out that it's going to go in the theaters here, so that's
Mhm.
why I've haven't watched the screener. And then Anatomy of the Fall, it was in theaters for like 1 week here. I'm hoping they'll put it back in around Oscar time because it'll probably get nominated.
Okay.
Um, if not, I'll end up just watching it. The one I'm really pissed that I can't watch is Origin. That's the
Oh,
one that
okay,
I'm
okay, okay.
really mad about. With from Neon because
Yeah, yeah,
I have
from Made
that
of
Neon
Running.
package, but it's not in there. But
Oh,
it's
it isn't.
no, 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 no. I don't
Huh.
think it is. I looked,
Alright.
but I really want to see that. I know you saw it.
I saw it at Venice.
I know Johnny B's in it. I want to see him. I know it's Ava DuVernay. So yeah, I'm a little weirded out with what Neon's doing with that movie. Oh yeah, there's a couple of other international movies like Perfect Days. I
We
never got a
lost
screener
Zach.
for,
Oh, he's back.
and then Monsters.
Oh, Perfect
So
Days.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Perfect Days at LFF. I know Perfect Days is playing here right now in theaters in Portugal.
Oh, is it?
Um,
Oh, interesting.
yeah. Zone of Interest, I will be giving you guys a review for that on Tuesday because I don't really want to upload a review for that movie on Christmas Day. It just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, I think you
Anatomy
should
of a
though.
Fall. No, not on Christmas Day. I will record on Christmas Day. Um,
Oh, I gotta
and
record
then
so much.
Anatomy of a Fall is the most overrated movie of the year. It's good. Don't get me wrong. It's good, but it's not like what everyone's saying it is. Not like at all. It's nowhere near my top 10. Um,
My
I am
friend
going to
told
be.
me Zone of Interest was the most boring film he saw this year.
I have a bone to pick with your friends. um, and I will tell you why after you watch the movie. So I'm gonna be missing two movies. One of them is not releasing here. The other one is not releasing anywhere that I could watch because this one I could have gone to a screening while I was still in London, but I didn't manage to muster up the enthusiasm or will to want to go. And there's The Color Purple. I've never seen the original, so it's not one of those films where I'm like super excited. I do have curiosity, so I'll end up watching it eventually. And unfortunately, there is no way I can watch the Digimon movie, which I really wanted to watch. It only released in the States for 2 days, I think, for the Phantom events. Unfortunately, I cannot catch that one. So selfishly, whenever I'm able to watch it next year, I will be counting it. I will be considering it for my top 10 of 2024. All right, everyone. Before we go into our main topic, let's highlight some of your weekly rankings in the chat. And we start off with Eric Thorpe Reviews, who starts us off with, and let me just zoom this in. Weekly ranking number one, Aquaman. Number two, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Number three, 300. And number four, Justice League. Um, I am surprised you have 300 under Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom as someone who's a big fan of the not a big fan, as someone who's a fan of the Aquaman sequel, and I know you're a big Zack Snyder fan, so I'm surprised you
Why
have
is
that one.
300 so low?
Yeah, exactly. Nathan Madigan, number 4, Man Down. Number 3, The D Train. I know none of these so far. Number 2, The Creator. Very underrated movie this year. And number 1, Oppenheimer. One of the best movies of the year. You'll see it somewhere in my top 10. Um, weekly ranking by Braxton Stewart. Number 1, The Adam Project, underrated movie. Number 2, Good Boys. Number 3, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, which I still really want to start this show, but no time yet. First, I gotta give you the reviews. Number 4, Obliterated. Number 5, Leo. Number 6, Night Teeth. Number 7, That Awkward Moment. Number 8, Blockers, underrated comedy of 2018. Number 9, Trainwreck, which I think is awful. Number 10, FNAF, and number 11, TMNT Out of the Shadows. I would push that TMNT Out of the Shadows way up. Even though there are some movies here that I've not seen, like Leo, Night Teeth. I am familiar with the name, but I don't think I've seen it. But I would push this way up. Um, Jack Alexander, number 10, Last Christmas. How dare you, sir? That is an underrated Christmas classic. Number 9, Chicken Run Down to the Nugget. Number 8, Naiad, which I have no interest in. Number 7, The Story of Fairy Tale in New York. I'm not familiar with this. Number 6, Violent Night. Number 5, Batman Returns. Number 4, Wonka. Number 3, The Nightmare Before Christmas. And number 1, Black Swan. I do agree that that should be the number 1 out of the list. Jico P. Number 8, Rebel Moon Part 1. It sucked. It really did. Number 7, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Number 6, Leave the World Behind, which I still want to watch just out of sheer curiosity, even though Sam Esmail is 50-50. Number 5, Killing of a Sacred Deer. Number 4, Maestro. Number 2, Aquaman. And number 3, Aquaman. Number 2, What If Season 2, Episode 1 and 2. And number 1, Poor Things, which I also very much agree it should be the number 1 out of the list. And that is it for weekly rankings. Thank you, everyone, for sharing your weekly rankings. Zach, it happened. We've come to the resolution of the almost year-long situation with Jonathan Majors. Jonathan Majors has not only been convicted of assault charges on the second degree and harassment charges on the third degree, I believe, and he's been fired from Marvel. Jonathan Majors is going to trial in February, I think, and then they're going to decide if he's going to jail or he's going to be on probation. But he is no longer Kang. Marvel has officially fired him. So now that raises the question. First and foremost, we want to address that the big important thing here is that the victims feel safe, they are served justice, and there's a whole real life, real world component to all this. But we're here to talk about movies. So we want to go through the possible scenarios of what Marvel should do and what they will do. And I want Zach to start us off with what should they do? What do you think Marvel should do in this situation? Given they have fired Jonathan Majors, they have fired the actor who plays Kang, and whether you and I don't have the popular opinion, most people are not in love with this villain so far. So what do you think they should do? What would be your approach?
So Kang is like one of my favorites from the comics. So, you know, it's a little tough for me to be like, oh, you should just do a different villain. Now, off the top of my head, I don't really know any other multiverse level baddies like him. I understand Secret Wars Doom is the main villain, but like Ren, just off the top, can you name anyone else who is as big as Kang in the multiverse that could just sidestep him and take him other than Doom?
Dormammu.
And I don't think Doom should do it. Do you know anyone or?
Dormammu. For me, it would be Dormammu.
Okay. So maybe that's how they do it then. I mean, I could see
He already
that, I guess.
exists. I
Yeah.
don't think
I
they're gonna
mean,
do that, don't get me wrong, but it because even in the comics, Kang is not a multiversal guy, he's a time travel guy.
yeah.
But given that
But I've liked how
this
in the
is
MCU
yeah, yeah,
they
yeah.
brought it
I
about. So
I agree. I completely agree.
my whole thing is you're already doing this. You're already halfway through this. And unless they're deciding to expand the phases. You know what I mean? Unless they're
Mhm.
deciding like, Secret Wars is not coming out in 2027, 2020. That's like 2029, 2030 now. We're going to do all of this in between and it'll reestablish. And then they're like, we're also going to pivot away from Kang. I'd be
Yeah.
disappointed, but I'd understand. I've been saying it and I've been saying it. Just recast the fucking character. He is the easiest character to recast. It's like not even funny. And for me, I understand now. I'm wondering, like, what if the reception to Kang was incredible? Because in
Exactly.
one way, it is. When you watch Loki, I've never heard a complaint about Kang from Loki. It's only Ant Man that there's a complaint on. So, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
recast Fanny Newton as Kang and have her take over. Get an experienced actor like Denzel. I don't know. Pay him as much fucking money as that man would want. Let him do whatever he wants in the role. Don't even give him a script. Just tell him what's going on and let Denzel free reign it. Uh, Let him say the F word if he wants. Doesn't matter. He can say whatever he wants to do. It's Denzel Washington. Um, and just go forward. Or Renslayer. Say she's a Kang variant.
Yeah.
Done.
Gugum Bathara.
She's an incredible actress. There's another one, makes more sense. I don't think they're gonna go that route though. I think they're gonna pivot. I think I think they're pivoting. No matter what. As much as I don't want them to, I would almost bet money they're gonna pivot at this point. What about you?
Um, I think they should recast. Like you said,
I
it's
do too.
the
Yep.
easiest recast they could ever possibly do. They've recasted before. They've been forced into the previous recasts, but this is literally a recast that they don't need to explain. This variant, the main one, quote unquote, just happens to look different. Then it's David Oyelowo because he's been waiting on the wings.
Yep.
This this is all karma, Zach, because they stole my idea that I pitched a few years ago when we were in the pandemic. This is all karma for
Yeah.
them not paying dividends for me. But I think they should keep striding for Kang. I am actually in the early stages of pitching the idea for Secret Wars, how they should adapt Secret Wars into the MCU, but that's another conversation. I absolutely think they should recast. You want to have Doom as a big bad. Absolutely. You want to have Doom as an overarching villain, but right now it's too soon. You don't want to suddenly introduce Doctor Doom in a movie that is not Fantastic Four while you build him up to be this big bad in Secret Wars, but at the same time, you also have to build that
He's not in
relationship with
Fantastic
Reed
Four either.
Richards.
That's
He
the
is
big
in
thing.
Fantastic Four. He is not the main
So
villain, though.
yeah. But he's barely in the movie.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what
yeah.
like as of like the script. So like
That's the thing.
that's the thing. Like how can you introduce him as the big you'd have to change Fantastic Four, which
You
is
have
going
to
into
introduce
development in what? A
you
couple
have to
months?
introduce him as the villain. You have to create a relationship with him and Reed Richards and really the entire Fantastic Four. You have to introduce Latveria as a nation and the entire genius it's too soon. You'd have to do too much. It's putting yourself between a rock and a hard place unnecessarily, and they're already in a hard place. So let's just crawl out of this hole before we start digging another one. Recast Kang. That is the easiest thing to do. What will they do, however? That's the real question. And I think that they've created a situation where they can perfectly. It's tough to say because you don't want a role that is associated with Jonathan Majors to now continue being your big bad. But as long as you change the character, change him enough, tweak this specific variant that will be our bad guy enough that there's enough of a distance between him and the previous guy. Go back and reshoot a scene and put it at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania on Disney Plus if you want. You don't need to. You can just pivot everything. Look at Terrence Howard. Oh, we don't like Terrence Howard anymore. Nobody mentions him. Just Rhodey is a different guy, and that's it. And I think it's so easy for them to keep going in this direction. Just tweak the Kangs are going to come in. You now have a Loki that stands outside space, the antitheses to him. And so now you have a god outside of time on the good side. You have a god outside of time on the other. Who knows? Like, even with the post-credit scene in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, have we seen the real Kang? Because you can even use it as an excuse because that wasn't the real Kang the Conqueror. That guy lost against Ents. Like the thing everyone's making fun of. Like, use that in your favor. You can. It's right there. All the tools are there. It's just a matter of how they use it. But what do you think they will do? Do you think they will pivot to someone else? Do you think that someone else will be Doom?
I I think they're gonna pivot. I don't think they do Doom though. I think they know Doom is such a fucking card to use, and this is my guess of what we'll do. They're either gonna pivot, or they're gonna have it be some other multiverse villain, or maybe it's a Kang and another multiverse villain. Maybe I don't know. That's how this phase will end out. Then they'll reboot the universe partially. The next phase will basically just be mutants. Like, I think they're just going to focus on
Mm.
mutants and establishing what's new in this world. Probably another Fantastic Four film, yada, yada, yada. After that, though, I think once the mutants are introduced, I think that's when they bring in, like, Doctor Doom is a more established villain, is probably a more overarching. But I also think they could go Mr. Sinister, too. So it's for
Oh,
me, this is the one thing, like, after this, it's gonna be quite a while before we go back to a Kang, to a because well, not even to a Kang. If they don't finish out Kang here, we're never gonna see Kang again. Like,
yeah,
it'll be
exactly.
out of our lifetime, Ren, when Kang comes back to the big screen. But the next few phases, it seems, will be mutant villains, Doctor Sinister, Magneto, and then a Doctor Doom. All the
Mojo.
villains that they couldn't use for so long.
Apocalypse.
Apocalypse. Am I missing anyone else? I'm looking over there. I think that's
Apocalypse, Mojo.
oh
The
Omega Red. Is that his name?
Yeah,
What's
but
the? I'm not big on
he's
him,
not
but
like he's not a big villain. Like, he goes against Wolverine, but if he goes up against the X-Men, he's toast.
yeah.
Um, you have the Shi'ar Empire. You
Mm,
have all these space alien races that the X-Men go against. Because a lot of
yeah.
people forget that in the comics, the X-Men go to the space a lot.
Yeah,
Uh,
they do. I
so
remember that
yeah,
was always weird to me when I'd watch the movies and then like get
yeah,
into the
exactly.
X-Men comics and be like,
No, they are out there in space so much.
yeah, they really are. That the I would just say a lot of Marvel comics go to space. Like, it's actually kind of like funny, like the
I
amount
mean,
that do.
yes, the Avengers go to space a lot, but like the idea of the X-Men as a
Students.
mainstream thing that have always been in the movies, like they fight for their city, they fight for mutants, but then you go into the comics and they're like in space every other story arc.
Yeah.
So they'll
So,
be on Earth, they'll protect the school, and then suddenly,
yeah.
boom, they're in space, and that's just regular for them.
Yeah. I
Um,
gotta say, I think next week, depending if no news, are we doing a show next week for New
as
Year's?
far as I'm concerned, I'm in.
Oh, okay.
I'm in.
You know that article that came out about that? I think Leo did a nice thread on of like what's rumored for the arcs and stuff. I
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
like
yeah.
we should like next week just overview that if there's no big
Yeah, we
news.
can.
I
We
don't
can
think there
for
will
sure.
be.
Yeah, there
I don't.
shouldn't be
There
post
should be no big
Christmas.
news till the first week of January.
I mean, the only thing that we would and I'm sure everyone watching will ask us about it is that what if finale that will be out by that point um of season
True.
2. Which I was going to suggest they could do something with that, but they already never connected to season 1. I don't think they're going to connect to season 2. And if anything, one of the reasons I like season 2 so much, without getting too much into it, because they're going to be for my review, is that the AMCU, the animated Marvel Cinematic Universe, establishes its own thing that we can now follow it as a more is pulling off multiverse in a more fun way, let's say, in a more connected way, where it all feels different. But yeah, I think it establishes its own path to forge forward with What If Season 2, which is one of the reasons better than Season 1. Zach, here's the thing.
Yes.
You have carte blanche. What do you do? Do you recast Kang, and what do you do with Kang? Do you keep going as if he's the same guy and he's just played by a different actor, but like you don't acknowledge it, or do you somehow reframe Kang as we know him and as we've seen him so far in the MCU?
If I was Kevin Feige, I keep him. I
Okay.
keep Kang and I hire the best actor possible. And I know you want David. I think in terms of this, and as much as I would like for them to go Lady King and do Thandie Newton,
Mhm.
I think they have to have literally an actor the level of Denzel Washington that would say yes to this. The only
All right.
reason I say that is because you have to make the audience forget who Kang is very much associated with.
Mhm.
And you also have to make us be like, okay, this is fucking great. Because Jonathan Majors did a great job as King. I don't think anyone will ever deny that. I think when we watch Loki and stuff like that, he was very intimidating. Take that as what you will with why he's in the situation he's in now. But I just want this character to be remembered in a good light and not in a terrible light due to everything that's kind of happened. And I think that's where you just get a huge actor who can fit this role into such an incredible way. But I don't know. If I was Kevin Feige, I'd do that. I don't think Kevin Feige's gonna do that. I think he's biting the bullet and saying, fuck it, we're gonna pivot. Because Kevin Feige is the genius, and his whole master new plan started with a crappy CEO.
Yeah, that's true.
And now they have Bob Iger, which Bob Iger's like, go do what you want to do. And I
Mhm.
think we'll start seeing that maybe 2025. It seems like 2025 because they don't have really any movies in
That's
production.
true.
So,
That's true.
yeah. So that's where I'm at.
I would keep going as is. Recast a new actor. Make him scarier. Introduce Kang, the real
Most
Kang,
fucked
as a
up villain.
guy. Like he just destroys that entire coliseum of other Kangs.
Yep,
He's the Kang
exactly.
none of the other fucking dudes knew about. Like they're ants, no pun intended, compared to him.
Can I
That's how
ask
you do a
you,
proper introduction. Yeah.
who else would you cast? Like if you were to get more of like an
Yeah.
older actor than David Oyelowo, like someone in
Else.
those Denzel Washington age.
Let me see. One of the reasons I didn't go Denzel or anything is because I like Denzel for Magneto, for instance.
Oh god, he'd be so
Um
good.
oh man, it's so sad because both Lance Reddick and Andre
Dude,
Brower, if we're going that older route, would have been incredible.
Lance Riddick would have
Uh
been so
Lance,
fucking
oh
good.
my, are you fucking joking? Lawrence Fishburne would be good. He's already in the MCU though.
I
Um
found a fan casting page that
mhm.
was made a long, long time ago, but someone said Michael Clark Duncan for King
A
like
long
years
time ago.
ago.
Jesus
Dude,
Christ.
yeah. I mean, it was like made in like
um
2010.
Who else? Who else? Happy Jordan. No. Jeffrey Wright is the Watcher, but like he's not the Watcher in live action. If you want to
Yeah.
bring Jeffrey Wright to be live action Kang, I don't know anyone who would like argue again. Keith David would be great, but I want him as the voice of Galactus. Um, like I think he sounds amazing. I think he looks too nice to be Kang. And not
Is
that
there a
Jeffrey Wright looks
possibility
like
they
a
do a
bad man.
Thanos thing
What do
where
you mean?
they just have a like his mask covering him the whole time, like more like the
Oh.
comic, and then just do a voice?
Could be. Could be. I think so. I hadn't thought of that until you brought it up, honestly, but that's
I
a good
won't take
shout to
credit for
like
that. I will not take credit. I saw
okay,
someone
okay.
post that on Twitter. I
Okay.
will not
Fair,
take
fair.
credit for that. I don't know who
No,
posted it.
but I like it, man. I like it.
Yeah.
Um John Boyega just comes across as too young for a
Yeah.
Kang. Um Not that Jonathan Majors was an old guy, but he looks like I don't know, a man, you know? Like, I look younger than I am. So yeah, I wouldn't cast John Boyega, for instance. I would maybe cast I'm not against he's not my choice, but I'm not against casting John David Washington either, just because I've never seen him in anything like that, but I'm curious as to how he'd come across in this role as a challenge.
I agree.
Um, so yeah. Um, do we have any other like routes that they could take that we haven't talked about, Zach?
Is there a possibility to go Fin Fang Foom?
As the main bad guy, no. I
Yeah.
think they use him as like the muscle
Yeah.
for
Can I
Kang,
be
but not.
honest? Do you know what's something I could see them pivot to? I
What?
don't I Ultron. Why don't they bring back Ultron? Do the Infinite Ultron in live
He
action?
comes back all the fucking time in the comics,
Yeah.
so I don't see why not. I don't think they will,
I don't
but
think so either.
like if Kevin Feige calls me right now, which he always does on the weekends, he likes to chat with me once a week.
Yeah.
If he calls me right now and says, "Look, we're going to pivot. We're not going to do Kang. Do you think bringing back Ultron in any way is a bad idea?" I don't think that is far from being the worst idea. I don't
Yeah.
know if it would be like in my top 5 ideas to do if you're gonna completely pivot away from Kang, but I don't dislike it.
I
I
have
don't
one
dislike
more.
it at
I have
all.
one more, and it's just because I looked up at the figure. I'm like, I don't know how the fuck they would do it, but I would be
Go
so
for it.
into it. Bringing a
Go for it.
Maestro in, having Maestro
Oh. But
be
see, to bring
reverse
in
planet.
Maestro,
It's so
you
tough.
have
You'd have to change a lot.
you'd
I don't
have
know.
to bring in Maestro, you first have to start with what's the word I want? Fix the Hulk, because the Hulk as is right now, everyone is fucking doomed. No pun intended. Like the Maestro wins.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Period. Um,
Cynthia calls him Old Man Hulk. She always sees the figure and
Old
she
Man
goes, "Why
Hulk.
do you have an Old Man Hulk?"
Old Man Hulk. There's an incredible comic, I believe, because I had it in Portuguese when I was a kid, but I believe in English it's called Future Imperfect. It's one of the greatest stories about the Hulk and Banner and that whole thing and becoming Maestro and all that. But that's a good shout. That is a good like I wouldn't mind
Oh,
if
I've read this. This one's
yeah
great.
if the
Yeah.
next not phase but the next saga and they bring in the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, and when it comes to the core Avengers they begin to rebuild Hulk as a main eventer and you want to do Maestro as a big bad, then do it. It's gonna be incredible. So those are the ways Marvel can go. Those are some of the ways Marvel can probably fix their situation. I hope they keep Kang. I hope they recast him and keep going as is, because the possibilities are very exciting. However, my pitch for Secret Wars that I will probably bring to you probably around when the finale of What If drops, that does not include Kang. I'm going to assume they pivot away from Kang. But I'm going to go with what they've been doing so far with Phase 4 and now with Phase 5. So we'll get to that video when we get to it. All right, everyone. With that out of the way, let's get into your questions. And let me just refresh this to make sure I have all the questions and I have them in order. And we start with, oh, hold up. This is not in order. Now it's
I
in
have
order.
it. I
There
have
we go.
it. I
There we
can
go.
start.
Yeah, go ahead. Start.
The Master of Gaming. What will happen to Magazine Dreams, a Disney movie starring Jonathan Majors? Nothing. It'll probably get thrown away. No one will ever watch it except that I got to see it. So
Tax write-off. Tax write-off. That's what will happen to it.
yeah. No, I think they're gonna probably sell it back to the director and just be like, do what you want with it. And that'll be it.
Oh, okay. Okay,
I,
fair.
I was
I want to
reading
see it.
an article on that, and I guess it's happened in the past to some other filmmakers.
Mm,
So and then the filmmaker just ends up like releasing it on streaming.
fair.
Or finding like a low end production company that will just release it in a couple of theaters. And that's probably what's going to happen. It's going to be definitely interesting when it does, but it'll probably come out and no one will talk about it. Then people will find it on streaming.
So I imagined it would have something for that in the contracts, like a clause or something. But what if they go to the director and they're like, "Hey, you want to sell this back?" And he's like, "No."
then I don't think it ever gets released.
Yeah, exactly. I don't
I mean,
think it ever gets.
genuinely, and I don't. That film is gonna be very weird when they put it out. It is Nightcrawler, very much Nightcrawler vibes. It's actually from the same producers as Nightcrawler, but in a more. I almost think it's very hard to watch. It's very hard to
Uh,
watch. So
All right, Master of Gaming also asked, "Do you think Disney will improve financially in 2024 compared to 2023?" I think we answered this last week, or something like kind of similar to it. It's too early to tell.
they have a good lineup.
They have a good lineup. They had a good lineup this year, at least
I
going
think they have a
into
better
it.
one next year. Overall, I think.
I think the lack of MCU movies will overall help them because the one MCU movie they have is Deadpool 3, so that will be good for them. Um, but in general, I think it's just too early to tell
Can
because
we
it
guess real
really
fast?
depends.
Just like
Yeah,
estimate
go
box
for it.
office?
Go
Okay,
for it.
so these are like their major films. So the first major film was Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
How much did the last one make? Because they weren't like too
War
hot in
for
terms of box
Planet
office numbers. Yeah.
of Apes box office. 490. But
Uh,
Dawn made 710.
Yeah, but War is the last one, and you lost a little bit of momentum because it's been. I think it could get to the 300, maybe it could get to the 400s, but I
I
don't
wonder
know
what the
that it
box
does.
office is. What do you think the box office is? Or sorry, the budget
The budget,
of
100,
this new one.
120.
Uh There's no reported
Yeah,
budget
not
yet.
surprised,
Yeah.
but it's probably around that. I gotta believe it's around that.
Let's go. I wonder what Wars was. Wars was 150.
150. It's gonna be less than that.
It's probably
It's
like
gonna be less than
120
that.
at
Yeah,
most.
120 at most.
It comes
Sure.
out. It's like 300. Would you be shook though? I mean,
After this year, no, but at the same time, they're not gonna inflate that much. In It's not a franchise starter, but it's a franchise restarted. So they're not gonna give it that much.
yeah.
For sure.
Their next film is Inside Out 2, which I think
I,
could easily
I
make $1 billion.
I
I'd
don't
be
think it
shocked if
gets
it
to a
didn't.
billion. I don't think it gets to a billion. But I think it's gonna do well. I think it's gonna,
I think at least it's gonna be
unless
high. The first one almost made $1
unless
billion.
the early reviews come out and they say Inside Out 2 is shit,
Yeah.
which I don't think it will be, even though I wish Pete Docter was directing, but I think it will do well. It will do very, very well.
Next is Deadpool 3. We already talked about,
Billion?
and then Mufasa the Lion King. That ends in
Oh,
December.
billion dollar film.
Yeah, and then they have like some like Alien. They have a new Alien film coming out in October. That won't make
That's
$1
right.
billion, but it'll make a good amount. It'll make a
Yeah,
good amount.
I think it'll do well,
So
especially if
since
it
it's
looks
Fetty.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's
Anything
that.
else?
No, that's really it. A lot of it's Disney Plus stuff.
Yeah, true. All right, what's next?
Master Gaming. Do you think Disney will improve? Oh wait, we asked that.
Yeah.
What do you think of Warner Brothers merging with Paramount?
I think it's illegal. I don't think it should be happening. I don't know. I don't know how it's happening, and the government is not intervening. I don't like this. I don't like the way this is going. I think it sets a bad precedent. It worries me about what else could merge and could come together. And if it keeps going, there's going to be just one big company that controls everything. And we do not want that, my friends. We do not want that at all. I also don't want anything else in the hands of David Zaslav. So
Yeah, exactly.
Deminiscent Scott, with the release of Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon, what are your thoughts on all the reception? I don't have many thoughts. I don't care about what people I don't know think about the movie, but having seen that the reception is negative, very negative, I get it. It's a bad movie. It's a movie that does. It's a movie that inherently exists as half a story. It's a feature-length teaser for an actual film. And the thing is, if the whole thing is Zack Snyder, okay, I'm out of Warner Brothers, I'm now on Netflix, and they're giving me free reign to do this. But then you go watch interviews, and Netflix suggests this. Okay, let's do a PG-13 and an R-rated. And Zach went along with it. Zach said yes, and he chose to put out a PG-13 cut that stifles his vision. It was his choice, not just his choice, but it was his choice collaborating with other people. So this one, the blame is on Netflix. This time around, the blame is also on Zack Snyder, if I'm honest. So, Zach?
I don't care. I liked it. I'm like, whatever. Just give me the better version. Hopefully the better version. I mean, I might watch the director's cut and be like, this fucking shit too. So
exactly. All right, what's next?
Yeah. Andrew Seif, I'm finally seeing Wonka today. So in honor of the movie,
Nice.
what are some of your favorite chocolates?
Do you want to get started?
Butterfinger, Twix, and Reese's. Those are my faves.
I'm not a big chocolate, like I like a chocolate, but it's just not something I eat on the regular. But the best chocolate is, and you know I'm a coconut guy, it's Bounty. Bounty is the best chocolate because it's the only one with coconut, especially dark Bounty with dark chocolate. Mm, the stuff of dreams, my friends. Twix is also very good. And yes, those are like my favorites, I believe. Yeah. All right. Andrew Seif also asks, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom marks the end of the DCU. I thought it'd be fun to look forward and give some of my fan casting for upcoming projects. Ask you guys what you think of them. Hal Jordan, Channing Tatum, or Glenn Powell?
Glenn
I
Powell.
think Channing Tatum is too old at this point. I don't think he works. Glenn Powell, absolutely. That is Hal Jordan. John Stewart, John Boyega, or John David Washington? Between the two, John Boyega, my casting for John Stewart is Trevante Rhodes.
Yep. That's mine too. So,
all right. Batman, Jake Gyllenhaal or John Hamm? Jake Gyllenhaal is my fan casting for the DCU Batman. John Hamm, I think he's too old, only because I don't think they're going for that Ben Affleck age range, and they're going slightly younger. Someone who's already a dad, someone who's already a dad to a 10-year-old or something, but not John Hamm. But I would love to see John Hamm in another role in the DCU or MCU. Mr. Sinister. Damian Wayne, Aidan Gallagher, or Finn Wolfhard? Who is Aidan Gallagher?
It sounds familiar.
Oh, he's number 5 in Umbrella Academy. Number 5?
Oh.
Number 6? Number 5.
Yeah,
right?
I think he'd be too old by the time they make the movie, to be honest.
I think he'll be too old too. Yeah. I don't have and Finn Wolfhard is the same thing.
I think Damian will end up being a no name.
So. Yeah, I think he'll be like a 13, 14-year-old. But so, like think not that he's the right choice, but like think and obviously he's not 13, 14 in real life, but like Walter Scobell, who's playing now Percy Jackson, like someone that looks like that age, that can believably play 13, 14, 15. That's what they're going for in Damian Wayne. For Paradise Lost, I don't have casting for specific characters, but some actresses I would love to see play Amazonians. Ana de Armas, I agree. Katie O'Brien, I agree. Jodie Turner-Smith and Aaron Cummings would be an incredible Queen Hippolyta or however you want to say it. But she'd be fantastic. She is in the greatest show of all time, as you know, Spartacus: Blood and Sand. Booster Gold, Billy Magnuson, Glenn Powell, or Ryan Gosling. Billy Magnuson. End it, finish it, close the audition right there. He's born to play Booster Gold. Like I will unless it's an unknown and they're like know something we don't. I don't know of anyone else that is as perfect to play Booster Gold as he is. Do you have any thoughts on this one?
No, I think we've talked about literally any three of those. I think could play him, but I'm more down for Billy or Ryan.
Mm-hmm. Supergirl, Millie Alcock, Saoirse Ronan, and Samara Weaving. Samara Weaving, too old. Saoirse Ronan, too old. Millie Alcock is good. Is she the one I suggested?
I don't remember, but she is. I would take that. Yeah, she should do that. She's incredible
I
in
I
House of
would love
Dragons.
her as Supergirl. I don't remember who I suggested, but I remember you liked my suggestion from a few weeks ago. Because I suggested someone for Ren Geekness. Let me just see. Supergirl Twitter. Nope.
I don't remember you did
Twitter.
Supergirl. I thought you did Wonder Woman.
No, I did Supergirl. Um I did Wonder Woman and it was Melissa Barrera. Oh yeah, I did Kaylee Spaney. Kaylee Spaney would be
Oh
fantastic
yeah.
Supergirl. Yeah. But I wouldn't mind Amelia Alcock. I think Amelia Alcock is fantastic. Having seen her on stage and all, she's brilliant. Swamp Thing, Bill Skarsgård or Oliver Cohen Jackson. Isn't it Jackson Cohen? Hang on. I think Bill Skarsgård is the better choice here. Yeah, it's Jackson Cohen. Okay.
Jackson
I
would be
think
a good Batman. Just saying.
he
I
would
think
be a good Batman. He would
he'd
be a
be a
good Batman.
very good Batman.
But I don't want Batman to be taller than Superman. And this motherfucker is
Yeah, he's
crazy
tall.
tall. Yeah, he's really tall. Bill Skarsgård is very good for Swamp Thing though. What's next?
Andrew Steve. There have been rumors that James Wan might be returning to direct horror. Do you think he'll come back to direct more franchises like The Conjuring? No, he'll be doing a Cthulhu movie from H.P. Lovecraft.
That's right.
But there's been rumors for a long time that he's going to be doing a Dead Space movie. So I think that's actually, besides the Cthulhu thing, I think that's the next thing we see. And I think he'll do it at Blumhouse. That'll be my guess.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going back for horror because I think that's where he feels more comfortable. But I would love to see him take on more, not even necessarily superhero movies specifically, but action movies because he does action incredibly well.
You have a super chat, by the way.
We have a super chat, ladies and gentlemen. Luis Feliciano, thank you so much, Luis. What if season 2 is making it look like Thanos or Ultron is coming back? Since last year they've been teasing Thanos in the Avengers Disneyland ride. Thoughts? We have seen the entirety of What If season 2. I can tell you that versions of both those characters show up at one point or another, but that's it. Because like we're under embargo for spoilers. Beyond that,
yeah, the coolest part was when
he's gonna make
James Gunn's
right
Superman shows up.
Yeah, exactly.
I was trying to remember the guy's name and I couldn't remember.
I already know that face immediately. Yeah. Immediately, I saw him and I saw it in his eyes. Luis, that is a $10 super chat. Thank you so much for your support, man. We really appreciate it. We're gonna leave this up. If something else comes in, we'll highlight that super chat. If not, we'll leave it up until the end of the show. But thank you so much, man. That is incredibly generous. All right. Andrew Steve, with Christmas coming up, what are some of your favorite foods to eat on or around a holiday? I eat like what I usually eat year round. I like all the traditional desserts we have here in my home country. I hate all of them. We have no fucking good Christmas desserts, so I don't eat any of them. Our main dish for the holidays is cod or lamb. That's our main meal, and I despise fish other than salmon. I don't really care for lamb, and I have a meal plan because you guys know I'm a fitness guy, so I have my meal plan with all my proteins and that. So I don't usually veer off of that, so I don't eat anything special. Unfortunately, I know that's a very boring answer. I apologize, but I just don't eat anything particular on Christmas. Zach, what about you?
Everything. My fiance makes incredible enchiladas, so I mean, there's not really like we'll just eat anything here. But my mom, my entire life, has made these homemade sticky buns.
Oh, is that like cinnamon rolls or something?
Yeah, basically. Okay. But you know how like the center of the cinnamon roll is the best part?
Yes.
It's that everywhere. That's all it is. Dude, it is like the most illegal tasting thing ever. And like when you eat it, like dude, none. And then your teeth just feel like you got to go to the fucking dentist right away.
Yeah,
like, it's so good. I don't know what she does, and then she makes a breakfast pizza every Christmas morning too.
Ah, what
So
does
yeah,
that have on?
it's like egg, bacon,
Okay.
ham, cheese, basically what you would have on an omelet, but just on pizza crust. So very good.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I'm already hungry, man. I would eat that. I
dude,
would
I'm fucking
eat
starving.
that for sure. I can hear that every now and then. Uh, what's next?
Andrew Steve also asked, "What are your thoughts on Peaches from the Super Mario Brothers movie not making the shortlist for best original song?"
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Same. I'm
I
actually really shocked. I thought it was
Yes,
like
man.
a shoe-in to get nominated.
Have we been given like publicly? Have we been given a reason why it wouldn't be nominated?
It just didn't get nominated. It qualified. They
Huh.
just, yeah, the
Huh.
shortlist came out and that was not on there. Barbie had like 4 songs on there.
Yeah, and one of them I don't get.
Which one?
Dance Tonight. Really fun song. Like
Oh, I get why, but
I,
they're gonna have that. It's gonna get nominated, so they're gonna have a dancing montage at the
but that's
Oscars.
the thing. I bet you anything you want. They didn't nominate Peaches. They're still gonna have Jack Black performing it. 100%. I guarantee.
I would hope he'd say no. I would hope he would say no.
True, but but he's gonna say yes. Um, Lady Aaron, how is your Alolan Golem and the Alolan Sentry doing? They're in the boxes. I got their data. Now they're in the boxes, so they don't go anywhere. Because last Sunday I was playing Pokemon, and they have this stupid thing where you need quests to gain points to pay for the starters to show up, and that's stupid. Just have the starters show up. That's what everyone wants. So I needed some friends to gain points, and Lady Aaron helped me out. So thank you so much for that. Um, and I captured the Paradox Entei and the Paradox Raikou, and they look amazing.
You guys are just talking
Uh,
gibberish to me at this point.
you are gibberish to me at this point. All right, what's next?
The Oscar shortlist came out for 10 categories over the week. Did you manage to see the shortlist? And if you did, what are some thoughts and any major surprises or major snubs? Yeah, Peaches.
Peaches. Yeah.
The other one was Barbie hair and makeup. That was kind of surprising. That I didn't
Oh
get into
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. I saw them like I saw as the tweets came out, but none of them like stuck on my head because they're not the nominations. So I was
Yeah, I'll
like, "Oh,
just
this is
wait.
surprising." This like nothing like sticks out here because that there will be surprises, but right now I don't think any of it is important. Zach, what's next?
Um, with the Christmas coming on Monday, are there any movies that you're planning to watch by yourself or with your family during the holiday season? If so, which movies will you be watching on Christmas Day
Uh,
this year?
same as always. Last year I uploaded a video of like the 6 or 7 Christmas movies I watch every year, so you can go watch that video. Those are the movies I watch every year. But this year, I will also be showing my parents The Holdovers, which is one of the best movies of the year. So watch that one with your family if you haven't yet. What about you?
I've already really watched all the ones that I usually watch the night before: Jingle All the Way, Four Christmases, Elf, Polar Express.
Die Hard?
But I have not watched Die Hard. I have not watched Die Hard in like at least 10, 15 years.
What?
I don't know. I'm not gonna lie though. I actually did have the urge to watch it yesterday, but I was very busy, so I didn't have
Of
time.
course you did. It's Christmas.
But my family, we always usually watch like one movie every Christmas, usually a new one.
Go
I
for the
want my family to
Holdovers.
watch Poor Things, but my sister said no. So
Go for the
I also,
Holdovers.
yeah, I was debating on it. So they just have an old setup. It's hard to do that.
Oh, okay.
But
All right. Fair enough.
I was like, what else did I tell her? Oh, I said Joyride.
Oh,
My sister told me I was not in charge of picking this year, so
you should go with Joyride and then just film their reaction during the hotel montage.
dude, that scene is so funny.
It,
Have I ever said the story? I don't think people understand. Guys, I made my grandmother take me to see Tropic Thunder in theaters.
oh, that's true. I forgot that.
Like yesterday, me and Cody were talking on the phone, and I told him, I was like, dude, you should take your mom to see Poor Things. And he goes, "Why the fuck would you even refer that?" I said, "If you take your mom to see Poor Things, I will convince my grandmother to go with me."
That would be
And he's like, "No." I'm like, "Damn." So go find Cody Curtis and harass him about that.
all right. What are your thoughts on Peaches? Christmas coming on Monday. Lee Aaron. So we got actually 4 new versions. Of I'm Just Ken a few days ago. Have you managed to listen to them? And if so, what are your thoughts on the new versions? My thoughts are that I'm very disappointed. They're all new instrumentations, clearly, and Ryan Gosling sang the new versions per se to fit into the new genres of music, but the lyrics are the same. None of it changes. The Christmas version, the techno pop version, the acoustic version, they're all the same. The lyrics changed in none of them. And I just wish they would have done something more, at the very least for the Christmas version of it. Like, and I don't know. I still like them because I like the original song, but it feels it feels like a wasted opportunity. Zach, did you get to listen to any of these new ones?
I didn't care.
All right, what's next?
With Barbie starting to do really well for award season, getting a lot of nominations everywhere, I'm starting to see people hate on Barbie because of how well it's doing, but also I'm seeing people start to hate on the songs I'm Just Ken as well, especially after the 3 new versions. Do you think the hate towards Barbie and the song I'm Just Ken in the award season is justified or not really at all?
I have not seen any of that hate, but I don't think it's justified because we've liked it until now. We're not going to suddenly dislike it just because it's getting awards nominations, which it should because it deserves a ton of awards, especially hair and makeup. So yeah, Zach.
I don't know. I haven't seen anything, and
Yeah, I generally
the
haven't
only
seen
people
any
I've
of the
seen
things.
like that were against Barbie back in July, and had
That's
their
true.
complaints
That's true.
about it then. So,
That is fair.
but that's film Twitter. Like,
Yeah.
there are people who hate Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse now. Why?
No.
Don't know.
No good reason. Eric Thorpe reviews thoughts on Zack Snyder saying he would absolutely continue Snyderverse if Netflix acquired the rights to do so. Um,
I
duh.
think everyone's taking
Uh,
that answer a little bit too seriously, if I'm being honest.
it's one of those things like if Netflix got the
It's a
rights,
what if.
if a completely different company that he is at this point at least very much enjoying working with, they got the rights to a property that he loves working in, um, and they said, "Hey, you want to do this?" I, of course he would. I would do the same. If something if I like playing guitar, but I hate the band I'm in, if another band asks me, "Do you want to play guitar on our band?" I'm not gonna say no. I'm gonna say hell yeah, because I like working with you guys. It's just those guys that are the problem. It's the same thing. Um. So yeah, Zach.
Yeah, I mean, basically the same thought I have. I I've seen so many people talk about this, like, even in person, and I just like it's never gonna happen. Like,
That's true. Never, 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 never. The Netflix just cannot buy it, and Warner Brothers will not sell it. So
yeah. And even if Warner Brothers wanted to, David Zaslav would want like $1 billion.
I think more than that. I think so much more than that.
Yeah.
Unless he keeps destroying the brand. Like if the DCU is shit again, as badly received as the DCU was, if it keeps being that, the stock price is gonna go down.
Yeah.
What's next?
Eric Thorpe, how much drastically better do you think the director's cut of Rebel Moon will be, or do you think it won't improve it much?
It Here's the thing. Right now, at least that I'm aware of, what I know about the actual version of Rebel Moon, of the rated R director's cut, whatever you want to call it, is that Zack Snyder says it's different. I don't know any of it. Like all the footage we've seen in the trailers, like, oh, the action looks choppy and all, but it already looked choppy in the trailers. So I have seen nothing in the trailers to suggest that visually it's better. The story ideas flow better, and they go deeper into the characters. I have seen nothing to suggest that. I know that Zack Snyder says it's completely different, and I like Zack Snyder enough to trust him because I like Zack Snyder's Justice League much more than Warner Brothers Justice League. It's not fair to call it Justice League. Um, I like every single Zack Snyder film up until now, except for Sucker Punch. So because of borrowed trust, I believe it has the potential. The like 99.9%, it has the potential to be much better. But it's all like things Zack Snyder says. And then what's Zack Snyder going to say? No, the director's cut suck, guys. It's even worse than this one. Just watch this one because it's faster, it's shorter, and it cuts away from more bullshit that I have put into the other movie. Like, of course, he's gonna hype the other one up, but at this point, I know too little about it to like believe vehemently. Yes, this is going to be better. I hope it is. I'm optimistic about it, but I wouldn't make any bets on it. Zach,
I'm every director cut of his is better, so I would imagine
that's
it's
true.
improved. Is it the end all be all? This is the best version of the film. Why the fuck did they put out the first one? Could be. The one thing it won't fix is the dialogue, though. The dialogue is not good in that movie, and that was my
Which was
one
the
big
least of
issue.
my that was the least of my problems
Oh, I had a
personally.
lot of problems, but the other problems, I
Same.
was like, yeah, at least you could fix these in a director's cut, an R-rated director's cut. The dialogue is the dialogue.
Yeah,
So
true. All right. Thoughts on Zack Snyder saying he has ideas for a young Bond movie. Uh
keep
so
him away
two
from
things.
Bond. Just keep him away from Bond.
Two things. I am, whether it's Zack Snyder or not, I personally am not too interested in a young Bond anything. If a young Bond movie or a young Bond show was to come out, I'd probably watch it out of curiosity because I like Bond as a franchise. But it's not, if you ask me what should they do with Bond? My answer will never be young Bond. That's what you should do. So inherently the interest specifically in young Bond is not all there. Number two, like I said, I really like the Bond franchise. I love Zack Snyder. These are two things that I don't see combining well. I don't see what Zack Snyder brings to the table as a filmmaker that I want to see in the context of Bond. And I don't see anything that Bond does or is as a franchise that proposes an interesting challenge to Zack Snyder as a filmmaker and a storyteller. So it's just two things. I love these two things. I don't necessarily want to see them combined. I want to see them as they are, separate. What about you, Zach?
I don't care. I don't think he should even do Bond. I don't think a young Bond would be good. Give it someone else, but definitely not him. I
All right,
don't think
what's
he could
next?
do Bond. Eric Thorpe, if you could greenlight one final DCEU movie actually intended to close out the universe, what would you pick?
Do you have an answer?
Yeah, Zack Snyder's Justice League Part 2. Seriously,
um,
that's what I would do. Close out the universe, make that the final film.
I would go Men of Steel 2, but it's 2 hours of every single executive and person who wasted the filmmaker's time, their money, their energy, and wasted and mistreated so much talent. And it's 2 hours of Superman fucking them in the ass, including David Zaslav. And then at the end, post credit scene, it's David Zaslav going, "Please, sir, can I have some more?" Um, so yeah, that's my final DCU movie, and everyone gets their comeuppance, which that's what we want. That's satisfaction at the end of a story arc. And we spent 10 years and several movies seeing talent and filmmakers and actors being wasted, being mistreated, being thrown out like garbage. And now Superman, the one that started it all, gets to take revenge on all the executives that pulled off this bullshit. So yeah. That's the greatest superhero movie of all time, if you ask me. Like the Academy is right now knocking on my door, asking to come in. Jico AP. Am I the only one's getting tired of director's cuts? Feels like this whole 4 hour cut. Is it 4 hours? I didn't
No, I
know it
thought it
was
was
4 hours.
three. I thought it was
I
three.
thought it was three. Um, 4 hour cut of Rebel Moon is a bullshit move on Netflix and Snyder's part. Um, to get some of that Snyder cut hype. Um, I mean, go watch my review. I addressed that specific situation that it feels like Zack Snyder made a movie and Netflix was like, "What if?" No pun intended. I know, we're proposing many what if scenarios here today, but Netflix saw the movie and was like, "What if we hack this up and reverse engineer this director's cut movement like you did before? Because that's your thing, Zach." And for some reason, Zack Snyder went along with it. Uh, Again, Zack Snyder's director's cuts are always better than the originals. Not necessarily a vast improvement, but an improvement nonetheless. Um, so I hope they don't. I hope they see the reception they're getting with the Rebel Moon Part One, and they stop from pulling this shit off again with Rebel Moon Part Two. So yeah, do you have any thoughts, Zach?
I mean, same thing I already mentioned. But also like I'm not tired of the director's cuts to a certain extent. Like I think it's cool that we can have a 4 hour version, whatever, of Rebel Moon if it's better. But it's the same thing with like Napoleon. Like Ridley Scott always does director cuts too. Like,
Yeah, but that was his choice, and
but he's
he's
done that
not
for a
out.
lot of his movies. He's done that
But
for a
but he
lot of his fucking
and
movies.
he's also not out here saying like, oh, the 4 hour version is a completely different movie. It's like this
Oh
alternate
no,
universe
for
thing of
sure.
events.
I don't know. Like I don't think this is Snyder's fault. I think this is a Netflix fault. I
Uh,
do not think it is Snyder's fault. I think
I
he was told he had to make two versions.
The way you see him talking about it in the Associated Press, which I put clips of that in my review. I saw Sean Chandler put clips of that in his review. Um, like he's very into it. The way he talks about it, he could just be faking it. Like he could be a very good actor and we don't know about it. But the way he talks about it is like, like he's very much into it. So I don't know. All right, what's next?
Jacoby, what do you think of the backlash that Maestro and Bradley Cooper have been receiving? I know Ren is going to say, now you know my perspective.
No, my perspective is that I like the movie and I
What
really like
backlash?
Bradley Cooper in it.
What backlash?
I've seen that like people are saying the movie is awful and the prosthetic is awful and like he's like playing a cartoon on the movie. Like all I said from the moment I saw Maestro at Venice was I like this movie. I did not love it. The Academy is going to eat it up. I didn't even like in my head conceive like what is the general audience going to think. um I think Bradley Cooper is wonderful in the film. I don't necessarily think the film is great. I think he commits a ton of the same if not more of the mistakes he commits as a quote unquote young director. And I say young as in someone who's just starting his directorial career. As a young director in A Star Is Born, he commits those same mistakes here, but as a performer, I think he's great. I don't think the movie as a whole is great, but I don't get this backlash to say it's awful because I would certainly get people going, "Oh, I certainly didn't care too much for the film." Like a friend of mine who saw the film for the first time at the LFF, he came out and he said, "It didn't work for me. It's underwhelming because it's very Oscar baity," which I agree. I don't personally think Oscar baity is necessarily a bad thing, but I think the film from the beginning, I've always thought the film is very Oscar baity, but I don't think it's awful. And I don't think none of those things. I think Maestro is a good movie. I gave it a positive review. It's just filled with flaws, but it's not awful. Far from it. It's too well made, too well acted. It has so many good ideas and so many good themes. Not necessarily that it conveys all of them spectacularly, but it does a lot of things well, at the very least, well enough. Zach, I know you you love the movie. So what are
I
your
loved
thoughts
it.
on this?
I guess now knowing that, I just don't take film Twitter as like a real thing though. Like I just genuinely don't. When my friends who aren't on
That is a fair
Twitter
assessment.
and aren't on things like that tell me that what their thoughts are on Maestro, that's when I'll take it a little bit more serious. I don't know. I haven't even seen the backlash till you started saying stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love Maestro. I think Bradley Cooper's incredible in the movie. Um, I don't know. I don't know really the person that he portrayed. Like I watched clips of him that way I could get a little bit of a feel before the review, but
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know. I did everyone there's backlash every fucking day. There's backlash
That's true.
every day. There's always bullshit, and I think Twitter is the biggest cesspool of shit. I would not be on Twitter if it didn't mean I couldn't talk to like you, and if I that's the only way to get news. Genuinely,
Mhm.
I would not be on Twitter if it wasn't for those two things. So
That's true. Chico P, let's be funny about the Kang situation. Chico P, you have been a follower of my channel long enough to know that I am not a funny man, but I will try. Um, who would be the worst replacement for Majors as Kang? Some funny options: Eddie Murphy, Kevin Hart, Chris Rock, Chris Tucker, Marlon Wayans, Cat Williams, Kanye West. Honestly, Kanye West might be their best option because then you
why don't they do all these and do the Council of Kangs?
yeah, and it's the cast. Honestly, if you cast Kanye West, Marvel can go, see, Jonathan Majors was not that bad compared to this guy. So, Tracy Morgan, Stephen A. Smith, and Will Smith, who's rumored, no, he's not. That is not a valid. It did not. Do not
Let
believe
me
that.
tell you
Will
right now,
Smith is not rumored.
if they're not doing Aladdin 2 because of Will Smith, they're not gonna fucking make him king.
They're not. They're not firing. They're not firing Jonathan Majors because he's convicted of assault and replace him with a guy who assaulted a fellow celebrity on live television for everyone to see. That I would find it personally. I would find that kind of
Do you know
hilarious.
that
But
moment pops into my head at least once a day?
yeah, yeah, I get it. It doesn't pop into my head that often, I gotta say. But like, I mean, as soon as you mention Will Smith, that's the thing
That's the
that
first thing
pops
that
into
goes to
my
your
head.
head.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. All right, what's next?
G. Colby, thoughts on Illumination now thinking about doing a Super Smash Brothers movie? For people who don't know what this is a proposed thing that Illumination has come up and gone to Nintendo saying this is our plan, basically their MCU. I am shocked this wasn't already pitched. That's my thoughts. I'm actually really for this. I like the Mario movie. I think there's a lot of intriguing Nintendo movies. If that means we can get a Star Fox movie, that's fucking cool to me. From in this pitch, I've talked to some people. This does include an animated Legend of Zelda, so we would have a live action and an animated one, which makes sense. And then, but yeah, I think this is cool. There's not really going to be a story for this, but maybe they can find one in there for it. My only thing with Nintendo is, from what I heard, they were really strict with the Mario movie and what the story could be, and there really wasn't a story,
You
and
don't say.
and that would be my worry for 90% of the other films is there
Mm.
would barely be a story, and yeah, so
Uh, so two thoughts. Personally, because on one hand, Super Smash Bros is so much fun as a game. Like that's exactly the kind of game I am into. Fighting game, several characters from several games, all that. Is it one of those games I played and I thought, "Oh my god, this would be an amazing movie?" No. That thought never for a fraction of a second crossed my mind. It's not a game with a story. It's not something I think translates well to film because this isn't the Avengers. like Zach said, that's what they're pitching it as. Like we want, like it's not the Avengers, it's not the Justice League. Because if Justice League had been the most successful one, that's the comparison they'd make. That's not what Super Smash Bros. Is. There's no story to it. It's just platformer fighting game, and that's it. So I
Well,
don't
there's a
know how creative.
story. There's a story. It's not good.
What is this?
I can't tell you. They fight the Master Hand.
Yeah, the Master Hand. I have a Master Hand right here, but I use it for other things.
All right, guys.
That's the
That was
master.
my final question of the day. I'll see y'all later.
Yeah, it's not a movie thing. Like it doesn't work. Like it doesn't get me when he proposed. Hey, want to play Super Smash? Is that a burnt minion?
It's a Deadpool
Oh, it's the
minion
Deadpool minion. Okay,
with his
okay.
middle fingers.
It looked charred from up close. Like when he proposed to me, hey, you want to come over and play Super Smash Bros? Fuck yes. When he proposed, hey, you want to come see the Super Smash Bros movie? I don't know that I do. So yeah. Jico RP, with the Percy Jackson show out apparently being very good. What are some of the best and worst film adaptations, or in this case, what's an adaptation that wasn't a great adaptation but still a great movie? For example, Shining wasn't faithful to the book, but the movie is a classic. This one, it's not tricky to respond, but it's a very selective question to answer because you specifically ask what is a great adaptation, what's a great adaptation, or best and worst adaptation, or what wasn't a great adaptation but still a good movie. And that implies that I have to have read the book so I know what makes if it makes for a good adaptation or not. And there just aren't many movies that I've read the books for it. I read the Game of Thrones books. I read the Hunger Games books. I'm currently reading this The Fourth Wing, which Michael B. Jordan and Amazon just picked up to make into a show. But other than that, like it's comic books. And if I'm going to judge comic book movies as adaptations, most of them are pretty terrible in terms of being faithful. But they're still some of my favorite movies of all time. Like Infinity War as an adaptation of Infinity War, or in this case of Infinity Gauntlet, is pretty shit as an adaptation. But it's a great movie. It might be better than the comic. So yeah, those are like the things that come to my mind. Zach, what do you have any thoughts on this?
Well, I love the Percy Jackson show. I did read the books. I don't remember them all too often, but watching the show kind of brought back a lot of memories. So, as for that, I don't read. I don't know how to read anymore. I stopped reading.
You forgot.
Basically. So,
I
you
got
know
it.
what wasn't a good book adaptation though to a movie?
What wasn't a good
Artemis
adaptation?
Fowl.
I
Those books
believe
were
you.
awesome. That movie was not good.
Having
Not even on Disney Plus.
exclusively
You can't
seen the
even watch it
movie,
anymore. It's been
I
erased
mean,
from the world.
not that anyone was doing it anyway.
Well, I was planning to rewatch it this week, but
Were you? Were you really?
yeah, that's what I
Cross
do.
your
Instead of
heart.
watching Die Hard,
Right, exactly.
I watch trash.
Oh, fuck you. All right, what's next?
Maybe I'll watch Expendables 4 instead.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Get the hype. Have you seen the steelbook for that thing? It's badass.
They made a steelbook for Expendables 4?
Yeah, it's fucking cool. I almost bought it just because of how cool it looked.
I'll give it that. The poster is cool.
G. Colby, now that the DCEU is finally dead, what would you sum up the biggest problem with the universe and how it went south, despite some highlights here and there? The biggest issue is Warner Brothers pivoting.
That's the answer.
It's literally, yeah, I mean, it's just Warner Brothers. I have nothing more to really say. It's just Warner Brothers, who did an excellent video on this, though, with Sean Chandler. Sean Chandler already did a video on this. Every single thing he said in that video, I agree with. And if I were to say anything else, it would be everything that he already said. But basically, Warner Brothers. That's about it. So
Yeah, Warner Brothers was the main issue. It was because a lot of people like to use interference to just mention when a producer and a studio and the directors and writers work together. That's not interference necessarily. Interference is when forcefully the studio executives, the producers, take over a film from the hands of a director, of a writer, of the talent, of the creatives. And Warner Brothers did that constantly. Whenever we would hear about a Warner Brothers announcement for a movie in the DCU, that wouldn't be because they have a filmmaker attached, because there's an idea that was presented to them or that one of the creatives had. That is the executives trying to catch up and making announcements to compete with Marvel. And then they would go on the search for the filmmakers, for the creatives. That is putting your cart ahead of your horses. And that's one of the biggest reasons why they fail. And the constant interference, not collaboration. And one of the biggest studios that collaborates a lot with their filmmakers is Marvel. It's Kevin Feige. Warner Brothers doesn't collaborate. They interfered. They took over as executives, which was what Bob Chapek was starting to do when he took over Disney. Thankfully, that's not happening anymore. So I hope the DCU takes these lessons in stride and doesn't do it again. Jacoby P. If you no, Lady Aaron, if you combine the MCU and DCU movies into one whole universe, what would your favorite movie and your least favorite movie be, and why? It's the same answer whether you combine them into one or not. The best movie is Avengers Endgame. The worst movie is Suicide Squad. Like the worst movie in the MCU doesn't come close to the worst movie in the DCU. Zach?
well, my top 3 favorite comic book films of all time, none of them are even in any of these. So, so honestly, my favorite MCU film is Guardians 3. So,
Oh,
but
wow.
I don't think it's the best made out of them. That's just my personal favorite. So, I'll just say
All right.
that. My least favorite, I mean, yeah, probably Suicide Squad or the
I
original
was
cut of
gonna say, if you
Justice
don't
League.
answer Suicide Squad, I don't know.
It's one of those two.
All right, what's next?
Lady Aaron, well, she's asking on the possible merge between Warner Brothers and Paramount. We've already talked about that. So I'll ask the next
Oh,
question
yeah.
I have for her, which is thoughts on the first poster that we got for the new Ghostbusters movie, which is Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, if we've seen it. I think you made a comment about this, right?
Yeah, I made a comment because
It was
the two
funny.
creatures on the poster look like Pokemon from the third generation.
Yeah.
The best one.
Is it
Other
just
than
me
that,
or that trailer looked boring?
I like the trailer. Like the
I
Ghostbusters
love the
Afterlife
last one so much. The
is the
last
best
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters movie by far. Because I don't like any of the other ones. I
And
know,
he
I know.
gives me shit about Die Hard. Okay.
You haven't watched Die Hard in 15 years. Of course, I give you shit.
Yeah, I haven't watched him 15 fucking years. Not really that memorable
Watch
of
it.
a movie, man. It's pretty forgettable.
I don't believe you. You're just saying that to rile me up. Um, and it's working. It is working.
If you ask me to
Um,
rank my top 50 action films, I do.
Die Hard would be on there, and you cannot make me believe otherwise.
Okay, fine. Top 20. It would not be in my top 20. I'll tell you right now.
Yes, it
It would
would.
not be. No, it
Yes,
would
it would.
not.
Because
No, it would
yes,
not.
it would. Because you
It
would
would
watch
not
it
be in my.
again. You would watch it again for that ranking and be like, no, fuck, I love this movie.
You
So
know
it would
what?
be.
You know what? Just for you, just for fucking you, I'm gonna try and watch it this weekend. Just for fucking you, I'm gonna try and watch it this
Fuck
weekend.
yes.
And I'm
Fuck
gonna tell
yes.
you right now, I will tell you if I'm wrong or not next week.
I know I'm gonna be right. I
No,
know I'm
you
gonna be
won't.
right. And if you try to lie to me, I will
I'm not.
recognize you. I know you too well, Zachariah. I know you too
I'm
well.
not lying, man.
Yes, you are. You're not lying yet, but you're gonna try to lie
No,
just to win
yeah.
this bet.
I don't. I'm like looking for it on my shelf. I don't know where the fuck it's at. Oh, there it is.
You can find
In,
it. You can
just
find
for
it.
you, I'm gonna watch A Good Day to Die Hard instead and tell you how good that movie is.
Which one is that one?
The
Is it the
last
fifth
one.
one?
Yeah.
Oh fuck. Jesus.
I've never seen it. I have it though.
Keep it that way. Keep it that way. What were we answering? Yeah, Ghostbusters. I love the last one. This one looks fun, but I don't know that it feels, and who am I to say, but it doesn't feel Ghostbustery. That sounds like a dessert, like a Christmas dessert, but it doesn't feel Ghostbustery. Zach, what about you? What do you think of the poster of the trailer?
It was poster was cool. Trailer was fine. I'm not. I don't know. It's weird. Like I love the last one so much, and I was really excited for. Oh yeah, they're doing another one. And I don't know. I'm not really feeling it. I hope I'm wrong. I really like the director choice on this one. So
All right. Oh, it's your turn. No, it's my turn.
it's your turn.
Yeah. Lady Aaron, what are some of your favorite movies that were nominated for Best Picture but didn't end up winning Best Picture in the end? The answer is probably will always be La La Land. Um, Dune. I love Coda. Don't get me wrong. If Dune was not gonna win, I'm glad Coda won. But I wanted Dune to win Best Picture. Top Gun Maverick should have won that year. It was the best. Babylon should have won that year, but it wasn't even nominated. So, Zach, what do you got?
You didn't mention this one.
Mhm.
Well, you mentioned La La Land, but also that same year, Arrival.
Yeah,
If
that would
La
have
La
been my
Land,
second choice. If not La La
yeah.
Land, Arrival.
I'm trying to think what else. There's the what came out against Spotlight. I loved Spotlight, but was it
Spotlight.
Birdman? Because I'm a big fan of Birdman and
No, that was
Whiplash.
the year before. That was
It
the year
was the year
before.
before. Well,
Spotlight was
no. Then it wasn't Spotlight. What did Birdman lose against?
Birdman
Or not? Or
lost.
did Birdman win?
No, I think did Birdman lose against the Theory of Everything? Because that was the same year. Because Eddie
No,
Redmayne beat Michael
actor
Keaton. To
won. Actor Eddie Redmayne won, but
2015 Oscars. No, 2016 Oscars.
oh
88.
yeah. The Revenant won.
Spotlight, The Big Short, Bridge of Spies, Brooklyn, Mad
Okay.
Max Fury Road, The
Yeah.
Martian, The Revenant,
I
Room.
would have. Yeah, never mind. That was a good year.
I love Spotlight. Like I don't think
2015.
I'd maybe go for The Revenant just because the filmmaking of it all. I'd probably go script for Spotlight, which it won.
Oh,
But
I have my choice.
yours is
2014. Wolf of Wall Street or Her should have won that year.
Yeah. Wolf of Wall Street.
2013 Argo won, but fuck, man, I think Silver Linings Playbook.
You also
Django.
had Whiplash that year.
Yeah.
Shit.
2012 was fucking weak. That was weak.
That
Oh,
was
2010.
plus.
Avatar should have won.
No.
It's a better film than Die Hard.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It's not even close.
1000 fucking %. It's better than that. It's better than
No.
Die Hard. Yeah.
No.
Die Hard is so fucking overrated.
No, it's not. Shut up. All right, what's next?
I don't know. Braxton, Ren, I don't know if you would do it, but it would be cool if you made a wrestling second channel.
It would be cool. I would love to have more time to talk about wrestling. It's a thought that comes to my head, like not even make a wrestling channel, but like specific videos I would make. But the truth is, I'm a one-person team. I record my videos, I edit my videos, I make all my thumbnails, I do the editing on the sound, I do color correction, I laid out the description for every single one of my videos. I just don't have time. If this channel was massive, if we were, what are you at now? Are you already on 30,000? You were already on 30,000, right, Zach?
I'm at 46.
40. See, 46,000. If we were 50,000 subscribers and I could pay editors to make my videos and I had a team behind me, absolutely, I would not hesitate in making a second channel for wrestling or for whatever else, like anime specific. Like I could have several channels. I could make so much. Not even a second channel. I could do it all in this channel. But I'm a one-person team. I just don't have to. Honestly, I don't have the energy to do that. But I would love to. I would absolutely love to. If the day ever comes when I can make that happen, believe me, Braxton, I will. But right now, it's just not something that is possible. That it's not humanly possible for me. Um, but hopefully, if the channel, like, we're 50 people away from 500,000, 500. I wish from 5,000 subscribers. So if you guys want to share any videos or the channel in general with some friends, like 50 people, we're just 50 people away from 5,000. That would be the best Christmas present ever. So yeah. All right, what's next? Braxton, have you watched Obliterated or Leo on Netflix? I have watched Obliterated. It's a really fun show. I think you could put this show on for you and your family to watch, Zach. It's raunchy. Uh, it has boobies and it has
I've never even
werewolves
heard
and
of
it has
this.
drugs. It just came out at the beginning of this month or at the end of last month, but it's really fun.
Oh, never mind. This is from the guys who made Cobra Kai.
Fun. Leo, I have not seen. I'm gonna be honest. I do usually do an animated movies ranked at the end of every year. If I can squeeze in Leo, I will watch it just to have it in the ranking. But I don't have much interest, and I barely have the time to do it. But
He's
maybe
afraid Leo is going to be a better movie than Die Hard, so that's the only reason he's not watching it.
it's not going to be a better movie than Die Hard. What's next?
Braxton, is there any actors that if you see them in a trailer, you watch no matter what? Yeah.
Yeah, a ton. Ryan Gosling,
Margot.
Emma Stone, Margot Robbie, Adam Driver, Jake
Bruce
Gyllenhaal,
Willis.
Chris
Leonardo
Evans, Chris
DiCaprio.
Hemsworth, Leonardo DiCaprio.
You know what mine is? Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck. And no matter what, even when I
yeah,
was younger, if Ben Affleck was in something, I would watch it, even though I knew it would probably be a shitty movie.
that's true. That's true. All right. Braxton also asks, who do you think have had the best performances this year? We talked about it. Emma Stone, Cillian
Zac Efron.
Murphy, Zach for sure. He's not winning though. Like I
No,
love
he's
him.
not even gonna get nominated. He's not
He's
even
not
gonna
even
get
gonna.
nominated.
He should, but like for me, the award still goes to Cillian Murphy, which is a shame because I so want Zach Efron to get that breakthrough. Um, but you'll see
Lily
more about that in
Gladstone.
my. Lily Gladstone is great. I voted on one of the critics associations I'm a part of today. Best actor Cillian Murphy, best actress Emma Stone, best supporting actress Claire Foy, best supporting actor Ryan Gosling. So those are my favorite performers.
My favorite best supporting actor this year is still Downey, but yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Final question, Zach.
Oh, my turn, or
Yes.
did I have a brain fart? Braxton, where do you guys get your steelbooks or Blu-ray movies?
I get them on Amazon or HMV, which is the physical shop we have in London.
So is that your guys' Best Buy?
It's not that big because Best Buy, from my understanding, is like it has Blu-rays, it has things
TVs,
for the
games,
house,
yeah.
it has does it have food?
No food.
Okay,
Just
okay.
I mean, like
Never mind.
candy, like
It's
snacks and stuff.
it's definitely not that big, but it's the best equivalent, I guess.
Okay. For us, it was Best Buy, but they announced that it's starting in
Not
January. They
anymore.
are no longer selling. So actually, a lot of those steelbook deals are now going to Walmart and Amazon. Yeah. So like the Aquaman steelbook would have been a Best Buy thing, but now it is a Walmart thing. So it's very interesting. The tides are turning. No pun intended with me talking Aquaman. So just saying. But anyways, yeah, no. I don't know.
All right, everyone. That is going to do it for this week in Geek. Next week, we not only have a show, we have the show on New Year's Eve, our final show of 2023. Also, Zach, you weren't here last week, but this was my Christmas present to myself. I have
I was gonna bring it up.
tattoo made.
I'm getting the same one, but mine's gonna say
Well,
on my back that Die Hard is a piece of shit.
no, it's not. No, it's
Yes.
you know what? It's actually going to do it, but I'm going to be doing that tattoo. I'm going to be there with a needle, stabbing it into your back in big fucking letters. And then I'm going to put a not like Borat at the end of it on your back, on your lumbar. It's going to be your
I'm gonna
Travis
rewatch it.
Not.
I got a video to make, and then I'm gonna rewatch it, and then I'm gonna tell you why it's the most overrated movie. And I'm gonna
No,
make
you're
a
not.
video on it. It's
No,
literally
you're
gonna be
not.
called why Die Hard is the most overrated movie of all time.
Subscribe to Ren Geekness because he made me watch it. That's the entire time. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We got a packed week. Later today, my review of Iron. Actually, let me show you my thumbnail because I'm
I
fucking
saw it.
proud
You
of it.
posted it, right?
I am
Looks good.
fucking proud of this thumbnail, man. I didn't even used to make my thumbnails when I first started this channel, and now look at your boy. Slides? It's slides what I want to do? No, it's not. Here it is, baby. I am Zach Efron. That's why you see all my championships, all my toy championships in the back, because I've been shooting that review, so now I just need to edit it. Um, I think this is really well made.
You guys
If
have
I
to
can
watch
pat
this review
myself
because if you
on the
see
back.
all of his toys to the left-hand side of him, he actually destroyed them all, like knocked them all over in the middle of shooting this, and then
Elbow
put them
drop.
back up. Yeah, he elbow dropped them all. So
I went up to my bed, ah, and just jumped on it all, and then I put them all in their place, as you can see. But yeah, we got a packed week today. Iron Claw tomorrow. What if then? Zone of Interest on Tuesday. I am having my final cinema trips this year. On Wednesday, I'm seeing Anyone But You. On Thursday, I am seeing Godzilla Minus One. And then on Friday, I can finally drop my best movies of the year and all that good stuff. So stay tuned for all of those, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Merry Christmas to you all. Happy holidays. Cannot wait to know what presents you got. Stay tuned to Zach's channel. Stay tuned to my channel. 50 people, guys. 50 people for 5,000 subscribers. Let's do it. Until the next one, love each other, love you, love the movies, and Merry